I've never met a solo online business owner who didn't wish for more consistent, steady revenue in their business. And for the most part, it really comes down to a simple math equation. However, it's almost like you are a player in that math equation, moving numbers around, trying to figure out how to put all the numbers together to make it all work, like how to do it right. And so it would make sense if it's confusing and overwhelming trying to figure out what to do next in your business or on your YouTube channel to grow and to create a more consistent, steady stream of revenue and income for yourself. But if you are committed to the commitment of growing your business and growing your business with YouTube, let's talk about how to YouTubeify your business, as I like to say, without becoming a full-time YouTuber. Because you have a business to run, you have a life to show up for. You have a family, you probably might even have hobbies outside of YouTube and growing your business. So this is how I would approach it here in episode number 75 of Video Brand Infusion. My name is Meredith Marsh, and I'm here to help you infuse the best video marketing strategies into your business so that you can become a binge-worthy video brand with consistent, steady revenue and income. And what I'm about to share with you is what I think is the only way that you should approach growing your business if you're growing your business with YouTube and you have an online business where you sell a course, a program, a digital product, or even a service. To be completely upfront with you, I was going to save this topic to publish when I redo some of the content inside of Video Brand Academy, but this is such a foundational thing that I want you to know regardless of whether you're inside of my membership or not, because there are a lot of different strategies, tactics, techniques that I teach inside of VBA. And, we evaluate your analytics and have Q&A sessions and coaching and things like that. But I've never really distilled the whole kind of system and thought process behind starting and growing a YouTube channel as a business owner to grow your business, and how that system is repeatable regardless of whether you're just starting or you've been here for a while and you know what you're doing. So I'm calling this my binge-worthy video brand fundamentals. And like I said, this applies whether you're starting from scratch right now, today, from square one, never published a video before, or if you have an established channel and it's like some days it works and some days it doesn't work. Or if your channel's doing really well, but you're trying to figure out how do I actually make sure that my business is growing and benefiting from all of the free content that you create for strangers on the internet. So we're calling this a binge-worthy video brand fundamentals. And there's two things I want you to keep in mind throughout this whole episode, because it's sort of like an umbrella over everything I'm about to tell you. Number one, the binge-worthy video brand fundamentals technically work regardless of the medium that you're using on YouTube. So long form videos like video podcasts, or just long form videos, or shorts, or regular consistent live streams, the binge-worthy video brand fundamentals apply to all of those. However, I'm a huge cheerleader for long form video content on YouTube, because long form content yields long-term results. So if you want to get the most bang for your buck, or the most bang for the time, energy, and effort that you put into creating content, I'm just saying long form is where it's at. But what I'm about to share with you applies to shorts and live streams as well. Whatever video medium you're being consistent with, this is going to work for. And number two, you have to understand the math equation that you are living in when it comes to any business, but especially online business and online business where you create content on a platform like YouTube. And this isn't complicated, okay? If you're like the type of person who's like, well, I'm not really a math person. If you're in business, you are a math person. You have to be a very simple math person. And trust me, I was never a math person either. But the very simple math equation that you need to know, because you're in it and you're a player in that math equation, is in order to have clients or customers, you have to have leads. And leads are people who opt into your email list or your text list or join your group or your free community. And in order to have those leads, you have to have traffic, meaning you have to show up somewhere where those potential leads are finding you, they're seeing you, they're consuming your content, they're connecting with you in some way. But in order to get that traffic, and this is why I flipping love YouTube so much as a platform for solo online business owners. In order to get the traffic, you have to have views. The reason why this is so powerful for YouTube is because of the nature of YouTube's algorithms, because there are multiple algorithms. You have human beings that are searching for stuff, and YouTube is coming up with answers, and those answers are content that you create. So you have the search algorithm. You also have the suggested, the recommendation algorithm, right? That's where you show up on the homepage of YouTube or in the suggested recommended videos section. And there are a lot of solo online business owners who are spending thousands of dollars every week on ads to get the traffic that you can generate from YouTube, that YouTube will generate for you for $0. And gosh, here's a little side tangent for you. It just breaks my little YouTube heart when I see people, when I'm talking to people who are spending so much on ads, not getting the results that they need, not getting the traffic, the leads, or the clients and customers that they need to make their business sustainable. But yet then they just ignore their YouTube channel. It's not even a thing. There's so much value in what they've already created on YouTube, and they're ignoring it to spend money on ads that aren't even working for them. I just want to reach through my computer, give them a hug, take their YouTube channel and fix it for them and then give it back. But back to the math equation, right? You need views. Those views generate traffic. That traffic generates leads. Those leads generate clients and customers. And that's the math equation that you're just swimming in all day, every day. That's the business. Views, traffic, leads, customers. You don't control any of those numbers, but you control how you show up to create the views, when you show up, how often you show up, the strategies that you use as you're showing up. You control your actions, and that controls the entire math equation here. So Binge-Worthy video brand fundamentals, what you want to do is create this growth loop. Okay. I'm at the risk of going off on a whole other tangent. The reason why I recommend long form content on YouTube is, like I said, the algorithms are pushing your content for you over time because the algorithms work for the viewers. When you or I or anyone opens up the YouTube app or goes to youtube.com, YouTube is we have a new customer. What can we put in front of them to make sure they're going to actually hit play and watch something and stay on the platform, right? YouTube is serving those customers, so to speak, the users, the viewers. And YouTube doesn't care very much about how long a video has been on the platform as much as it cares about how useful this is going to be to that user. That's why you see sometimes there's the top search result could be 3 years old, could be 5 years old, could be 2 weeks old. The recency doesn't so much matter as much as the relevancy to the user versus short form platforms, shorts, reels, TikToks are very recency heavy, right? You have to keep feeding the algorithm and keep just running on that hamster wheel in order to get those views. Whereas on YouTube is kind of pushing people towards your content if you do it right. If you follow these binge-worthy video brand fundamentals. So there are 4 parts to this, 4 kind of layers, I guess you could think of them. And number 1, obviously, you have to have a YouTube channel. I know you're like, duh, Meredith, of course. But on that channel, what I'm talking about for fundamentals is simple videos on specific topics around a single niche. If you make travel vlog content and you have 12 hours of footage that you have to comb through to create every single video and it takes you 3 days, that's not a simple video. And that might work for you. That might be what you want to do. That's great. Go ahead and do that. It's going to be a lot harder to create this growth loop where YouTube is actually pushing your content in front of the right people. So simple videos, that could mean a video podcast, like what you're watching or listening to right now, just a simple talking head, just talking to the camera. There's very little editing other than kind of editing out any big major mistakes, which if you know anything about me, you know I make a lot of mistakes in my videos. But ultimately what comes out see right there, I'll leave that one in. Ultimately, what comes out is a simple video on a specific topic around a single niche or niche. And most of you watching this have this down. You know, I mean, if you have a business, you know you have a single niche, right? But even then, still sometimes as you're trying to get this growth loop going, sometimes you have to niche down even more to get traction and momentum around a single topic or some very tightly related topics in order to kind of get that traction and get things going before you start to talk about other areas of your niche. So that's the first layer. You're going to create simple videos on specific topics around a single niche. Second layer is you're building a library of binge-worthy videos with that content. So, you know, I recommend consistent long form videos, right? Even if you're doing shorts or doing consistent live streams, it has to be consistent. Not necessarily because YouTube needs you to be consistent or the algorithm needs you to be consistent in order to work for you, but because you're consistently building this library of binge-worthy videos. You have to keep adding to the library. That's how YouTube can kind of snowball for you. Now, if you followed me for a while or if you've been inside a Video Brand Academy, you know that I teach something I call the spiderweb strategy, which is where you start with like one kind of category, one section of your content, cover everything and anything there is, all questions, anything that people might be searching for, and you cover that in your simple videos on specific topics, and you build this spider web. Now, how you figure out what videos go into that spider web strategy, that's where you can try some different tactics and techniques. Of course, I teach a bunch of these inside a Video Brand Academy. One of them is actually called the Snowball Strategy. There's a Save Me series. This is great for starting your channel. The Ultimate User Guide is great for if you, in your content and in your niche, if you teach anything kind of technical, like how to use like a specific product or a specific piece of software. If you've been following me since my GoPro tutorial days, those are like the two strategies that I used consistently. You also have, of course, dead simple SEO. There's a shared audience strategy to see in your analytics what other channels YouTube is connecting you with. And YouTube has in your YouTube studio, in your analytics, there is a section where YouTube is trying to tell you like other channels that your audience watches, and mine is almost always empty. It almost always tells me like, we don't really know this information. It does know. It's inside of your analytics. You just have to know where to look for it. And of course, if you have a course, program, digital product, or service, you want to attract your actual ideal clients and customers, right? So you want to fill your funnel. Even if you don't have like a deliberate funnel, like a backstage YouTube funnel is what I like to teach. Your YouTube channel is a funnel, right? You're bringing in the views, which turns into traffic, which turns into leads, which turns into clients and customers. That's a funnel, right? Turn your channel into a funnel. There's a whole strategy inside VBA on how to actually figure out the content that's going to attract your ideal clients and customers, the people who want and need what you have to offer, fill your funnel. So you're building this library of binge-worthy videos by consistently publishing long-form content or shorts or consistent live streams. And the third layer of this is that all roads, everything you create with the intention of leading you to a specific destination. So let me explain what I mean by that, because this is where that equation, the math equation that you're living in, starts to get really overcomplicated if you let it. Because if you're putting your time, energy, and effort into creating content for your business, you're like, I want sales, I want leads, I want subscribers on my channel, I want views on my videos, but I also want engagement, I want comments, I want likes. But all of those results, all of those targets are different destinations. This is how you massively overcomplicate YouTube for yourself as a business owner. When you are trying to create a strategy that's going to get you views, but also is going to make people hit the subscribe button, but also is going to make people want to opt into your lead magnet, but also is going to attract your ideal rate clients and customers to where they actually buy your thing. If you try to answer to all of those results, all of those destinations, you're just going to be like bouncing off the wall, going in circles. Now, that's not to say that you can't have all of those things. Obviously, you're going to generate views. Naturally, you're going to generate subscribers. Naturally, if you are creating content for your ideal clients and customers who haven't found you yet, you're going to generate leads. And if your messaging is good and your offer is great, then some of those leads are going to turn into sales naturally through the content that you create. But depending on where you're at in your business, like whether you're just getting started, whether you have an offer that you know converts, or whether you're, if you're just learning how to make videos, then the only result or destination that you should be thinking about right now is, how do I get the videos onto YouTube? How do I make the videos? How do I be consistent with just creating the content? But if you're also trying to generate leads and make sales at the same time that you're like, how do I hit record? What do I say? How do I edit this? No wonder this is overwhelming or confusing. Pick a destination. If you're just getting started with creating content, your destination might be, I want to create my first 5 videos. And that's all you're going to focus on, is that one target destination. Make a plan for how you're going to do that, and then run the play. Like, do it. Do the plan. If you don't really have a digital product yet, or a course or a program yet, but you know that you want to, and you know that you want to use YouTube, and you're just kind of like, I'm going to focus on YouTube now. I'm going to get started on YouTube. I'm going to grow my audience. Then maybe you want to focus on subscribers. If you don't have anything to sell, then you don't have to focus on leads and sales right now. You can focus on creating your library of binge-worthy videos and gaining the subscribers, so that when you do have a digital product, course, program, or service, you have this kind of backlog, this library of content that's already bringing people your way, and you have that social proof of the number of subscribers and number of videos and number of views on your channel. That's going to help you out just like from a personal branding perspective. Plus, it feels good too. Like, it feels good to see your subscriber count go up, because it's evidence that what you're doing is working. So one destination, one target, one goal. What is the one thing that you are trying to accomplish specifically? Pick that one thing, make a plan to get there, and then run the play. But what I'm going to say next, you're not going to like. No one likes hearing this, because we all want like instant gratification, instant results. So here's the truth. YouTube is a marathon, not a sprint. That sounds like the most cliche thing that could possibly like ever come out of my mouth, but it's the truth. YouTube is a long game. So whatever the destination is that you're choosing, whatever the thing that you're focusing on improving is, do this for 12 videos. Run the play for 12 videos. Pick the destination, make a plan for exactly how you're going to get there. And that's essentially what makes up the core content inside of Video Brand Academy, the strategies for growth, like the actual plans. Does it have to be exactly 12? No. And if you're just getting started on YouTube, maybe it's like your first 3 videos. But I recommend like 12 videos, which is, if you publish once a week, going to be about 90 days. And then you look at your analytics and you figure out what worked, what didn't, what changed, what didn't. And then you go again. This is why it's a growth loop, because you're like going round and round. Good YouTube strategy for like growing your business, growing any YouTube channel. There are different tactics and different techniques and different ways of looking at your analytics. I like to say, look at your analytics like a crystal ball, because you can kind of see what's going on, where people are coming from. You can see where people are dropping off on your content, and like that tells you what to fix, right? But there aren't really a whole lot of different strategies as your channel or your audience gets bigger on YouTube. It's always a growth loop of finding where is the roadblock, how do we eliminate it, and then having a time period that's long enough for you to have actual data to look at. And then the data tells you, did it work or not? If you take deliberate actions, you're going to see after 12 videos whether what you've done made a difference, positive or negative or the same. So you have to create enough data to measure, to know if what you're doing is working. But focusing on thumbnails and getting leads and getting sales and also trying to improve my editing, or like, that's a lot of stuff to be focusing on at one time. And you don't have to get it perfect and get it right out of the gate. In fact, very few people do. And if you do, that means that's great. Like, you're a complete natural at this. But most people aren't born being a natural at talking to the camera or understanding the algorithms of YouTube or understanding how business even works. But if you're not measuring any of the actions that you take as you try to improve your audience growth and grow your channel and grow your business, if you're not measuring anything, then you're really just kind of coasting along and waiting for something to happen. And I completely understand, like, that was me for a long time, kind of like, oh, I'll just wait for something to happen and then I'll know what to do. And that might work for YouTube as a side hustle or as a hobby. But once I started treating YouTube like a business and realizing that in order to make my business grow, I was going to have to take deliberate action to make it grow, even when I wasn't 100% clear on what to do. That action turns into traction. I'm not trying to make this rhyme again, like, at the risk of sounding incredibly cliche. Taking the action, even without clarity, will create the traction and clarity you need to know what to do next, to know what your next step is on YouTube. And that's why this is like a growth loop, because you keep repeating it. You keep going, improving as you go, doing more of what's working, and then improving the things that aren't working, and improving the things that you have control over, instead of focusing on all of the different aspects of YouTube and business. You have control over one thing: you and the actions that you take. So I threw a lot of stuff at you. And like I said, this video, I was going to reserve this topic as I am redoing some content for Video Brand Academy. So if you're wondering, what the heck is she talking about? What is an ultimate user guide? What is the spider web strategy? What is she talking about? It's inside Video Brand Academy. So I want to recap this for you. There are 4 layers of the Binge-Worthy video brand fundamentals. When you follow these, you create this growth loop that actually tells you what to do, what your next steps are to grow your channel and grow your business. The first layer is obviously have a YouTube channel, and that's where you create simple videos on specific topics around a single niche. Second layer is you build a library of binge-worthy videos, hopefully with consistent long-form content, because long-form videos will yield long-term results. The library of binge-worthy videos that you are consistently adding to is like creating this spider web effect on your channel where it's almost impossible for your ideal clients, customers, and viewers to not find you on YouTube. You're doing a lot of the heavy lifting for the YouTube algorithms with the spider web strategy, and all of the different growth strategies inside of VBA help you kind of hone in on what's going to work for your niche, for your channel, and for the way that you want to create your content. The third layer is all roads lead to one specific destination. You pick that destination, that result that you're after, whether it's videos, subscribers, leads, sales, or revenue in general. You pick one destination, you make a plan to get to that destination, and then you run the play for how long? 12 videos. Because the fourth layer of the Binge-Worthy video brand fundamentals is that you look at your analytics, and your analytics will tell you exactly what to fix or change or keep doing as you move forward. And you have to have enough data to measure anything to be able to make those decisions and get clarity on what to do next on your channel as you YouTubeify your business and become a binge-worthy video brand. Now, you might be wondering, okay, this sounds very YouTubey, but how does this apply to actual business? How do you generate consistent 10K months or more in your business by following the binge-worthy video brand fundamentals on YouTube? And the answer to that is it's the same exact math equation. You just have a few extra variables in place, like the price of the course, program, or digital product that you're actually selling. So the simple math equation here for this is if you sell $1,000 thing, all you need to do is sell 10 of those a month to generate 10K in your business, right? So when you know how many customers you need to generate 10K a month in your business, you can work backwards from that and actually see the math equation in real time. Look at the analytics to your website. Look at how many people have landed on your freebie opt-in page versus how many people actually opted in to become a lead. That's traffic and leads. And then you know how many sales you got from that, right? Look at the last month. Look at the last year. Look at the whole year if you want to. You have a traffic number. You have a leads number. You have a client or customer conversion number. So if you want to increase the client or customer conversion number without changing anything else, without changing like the price of your program or your digital product or the services to work with you, without changing any of the stuff about your offer, you simply need more views on your channel to generate the traffic, to generate the leads, to generate the client conversion. And that's where building your binge-worthy video brand and building your library of binge-worthy videos and creating consistent long-form content that YouTube is actually pushing out to your ideal clients and customers, that's where all of this becomes a game of how often are you showing up. Now, I'm not going to pretend that I knew all of this, going into starting my channel or my business. I didn't. It was like 3 years into having my channel and having a business and thinking that I was growing a business. It was like 3 years into it before I realized oh, this is just a simple math equation. And even when I knew the math equation, it still was an overcomplicated, overthinking, process for me to kind of figure out, what am I building? What do I want to build? What is the business that I want to build? But the magic of following these binge-worthy video brand foundations is that as long as you're showing up consistently, you're still moving forward. So if you follow these 4 phases consistently, every 90 days, let's say, every 90 days, you make a plan, you run the play, you evaluate, and then you make a new plan and run the play and evaluate, then you're constantly moving forward and finding clarity as you go. These are the kinds of things that I wish I knew almost 11 years ago when I first started my channel. And that is exactly why I decided to put this in a YouTube video instead of locking it up inside a Video Brand Academy. But if you want more of this, if you want help from me, if you want my coaching on your channel and your business, then come on inside Video Brand Academy. I'll put a link down below. It's like the easiest thing in the world to join and actually get help, support, coaching on your channel, on your business, practically immediately. So there's a link down in the description below this video. I want to see you on the inside, maybe see you at our next Q&A meetup, because I'd love to help you build your binge-worthy video brand. Come on in.